So the MFJ Mag Loops can take up to a 1.5 inch mast. All my masts are 2 inch, so I've got an adapter here which just bolts on, so it adapts my 2 inch mast to a 1.5 inch mast. This here is just a guy ring, which I've got some guy ropes here which I will probably actually use because we're in a fairly exposed location and there is a bit of a breeze. And MFJ also suggests putting a coil like this in your feeder cable. So that's the setup. We'll get the mast up in the air, run the feeder cable down into the caravan and get on air, and we'll see what happens. In case you're wondering why I use 2 inch mast, it's because I discovered that 2 inch mast fits quite nicely on the jockey wheel mount on my caravan once I get it set up, so that's how I hold my mast up. Okay, so what we have now then is a mast guide in 3 places with a MFJ Mag Loop mounted roughly about 20 foot in the air, give or take a foot or so in either direction. Yeah, it's Mike 0 Golf Quebec Charlie Portable. Mike 0 Golf Quebec Charlie Portable, and the band does seem very changeable tonight, over.
Okay, we got that. Mike 0 Germany Quebec Charlie / Portable. Okay, 25 watts. Sounding good. You were up to an S7 on that last one, so we'll give you a 5 and 7, 5 and 6, 5 and 7. Over.
Roger, Roger. Thank you for the 5-7. You're 5 and 8 with me, 58, and good signal. Just running portable. I have a MFJ Mag Loop, approximately 20 foot in the air, over.
Yeah, okay. Well, and doing good for that, and especially with the time of the day. I'm quite surprised I'm hearing you guys, over.
Well, first impressions are it does seem to be working. I noticed the SWR was jumping about a bit, so I think there might be a bit of a loose connection in the cable, but I've just had a SSB contact with Canada, so can't be doing that badly. It's not really the right time of day for getting into Canada on 20 meters, but yeah, it works. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to 40 meters, which is more of a nighttime band, because as you can see, it is definitely dark outside now. So I'm going to drop down to 40 meters and try and make a couple of contacts, and maybe see if I can find a clear frequency and call CQ a few times. So where am I at with this antenna then? Well, we've managed to get to Canada earlier when the band was closing on 20 meters, when the conditions weren't great, but I've been on 40 now for approximately half hour calling CQ and not had any replies. So I don't know if that's just lack of activity on the band, or conditions aren't good, or the antenna's not great on 40. I'm not sure, so I'm not ready to condemn the antenna yet. What I want to do is pull the laptop out, maybe tomorrow, and do a bit of FT8, because that gives you a signal report in both directions, so you can compare how well they are receiving your signal versus how well you are receiving their signals. So I think that's an experiment for tomorrow, but I'm not quite ready to draw conclusions or condemn the antenna yet. So this is the setup I use when I'm portable out in the caravan then. So what I've got here is I've got my laptop. Currently it's plugged into, there's a main socket down here. Got the generator running at the moment, so I've got mains power, but I've got a couple of leisure batteries over there, which is what I'd normally power my laptop from via an inverter. I also run the radios off of there as well. So I've got my laptop here. I've just put it on top of a flight case to keep the fans clear and so it doesn't overheat. Got a FT857 here, running around about 20 watts, so we're not running mega power. And then I've got the controller here for the MFJ Loop, which is outside on the mast up there. This on the top here is just a microphone, because the microphone on the camera is rubbish, frankly, so I use an external mic. So that's all we're running, and just got FT8 on the go at the moment. Just made a couple of contacts here and there. I don't do anything clever with logging when I'm out portable. I just use traditional paper log, so there's, you won't be able to see it from that far away, but there's all the contacts I've made whilst I've been here. Okay, so I'll just show you the process we go through for tuning this antenna then. So it says in the manual you need to keep the power down low of about 5 watts. Now you can either do this sending an AM carrier, or the way I'm doing it, because I'm running FT8 at the moment, I'm going to do it with a continuous tone on FT8. So we're currently on 15 meters. I want to drop down to 17 meters. So there we go. I'll change the frequency. I'm going to send my tone. Now I know that we need to go down the band, so I'm going to press this auto tune down, and there you go, it's roughly there. It's started beeping at me. Release that, it gives you a light here telling you which way you need to go. So I'm going to keep pressing that until my SWR there drops as low as it gets. Now it's a little bit twitchy. There it goes, just a tiny bit. We'll see it's jumped back up again, so I went too far, and there you go. That's how you tune the MFJ loop. So just a really quick overview of the controller then, just to give you an up close. You've got your power on off here, range for high or low power. You can turn your lamp on here. You can run these on batteries, which it will really eat the batteries if you do that, so I'll leave that turned off. You've got your fine tuning here, and you've got your auto tuning here. They do 2 variations of this controller, I believe. I think they also do a version without the auto band select. I'm not too sure on that, but this one's got the auto band select. On the back you've got 9 to 15 volt DC input. You've got your grounding lug, and you've got antenna connectors for the antenna itself and also to the transmitter. Now I did say earlier that the manual references you can run this on batteries, but it doesn't actually tell you where to put the batteries, so I'll quickly show you that. What you have to do, you have to take the cover off. So you've got 6 screws, so there's one there, one there, one there, and one there, and same on the other side. So it's the 4 screws around the lower edge of the case that you have to remove. So yeah, those 2 there as well. So those are the 6 screws you have to remove to get at it. Now I'm not going to do that on camera because it'll make for a very boring video. So I'll stop the camera, I'll unscrew the case, and then I'll take it apart and show you where the battery case is. Okay, so I've removed the screws then. So there were, as I say, there were 6. There were 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and the 2 on the back. Now you have to be a little bit careful how you lift this off, because you've got the wires attached. You don't want to rip these wires out. But you see here you've got 2 battery cases, and there are 4 batteries in each case, so you need 8 batteries. These are double A batteries, so you need 8 double A batteries. And this is how I've been powering the MFJ for the 2 days that I've been away on this trip, and it's worked an absolute charm. Right, conclusion time. That means I've got to think of something intelligent to say. Well, I'm going to cheat a bit here. I've made some notes, so forgive me if I'm looking down at my notes and not at the camera. The first thing that really bugged me with this antenna, and is characteristic of all mag loops, it's not just the MFJ, is they have an extremely narrow bandwidth. With this one, if you change frequency by even a couple of kilohertz over or under the frequency you tune it on, you will need to retune it. And for SSB, where you're constantly changing frequencies up and down the band, it drove me to insanity. It was an absolute pain. If you intend to just sit on one frequency and call CQ, then it's fine. For digi modes, and I gave up on SSB, I reverted to FT8 in the end. For digi modes where you can stay on one frequency, it's fine. Possibly not great as a portable antenna. It takes up quite a bit of space in the back of the car, but it works. I mean, I made the contacts. It needs a little bit of power to get the signal out, so again, possibly not a great portable antenna because I was burning up my batteries. I started off making contacts at 5 watts, which fairly typical portable power, and on FT8 the signal reports coming back at me were 10 dBs down on my signal reports. So in other words, the other stations were not hearing me as well as I was hearing them. Bearing in mind they were probably running nearer 10, 15, 20 watts on FT8. To be fair, I did crank my power up to 20 watts, and it did level out the signal reports. I then had the same signal reports coming back to me that I was giving other people. So in terms of performance, well, we have to moderate our expectations with this. It is designed as a compromise antenna. It's designed for small houses, flats, apartments, basically locations where you can't put up a full-size antenna. I've heard of people putting these in their loft or attic space, and I mean, it works. The contacts are there. I've made an entire logbook page of contacts today, so it works. I guess the acid test is, will I be keeping this? Because it's my own money. This was not given to me by MFJ. I'm not sponsored by MFJ. I bought this. This one was second hand on eBay, so I did get it on the cheap. Brand new. These are mega expensive. Are they worth the money? I'm a little on the fence with it. Like I say, I guess the test is, will I be keeping this one? And yes, I think I will. I won't be using it as my main SSB antenna, but as a second antenna for digital modes, it's fine. It does what it says on the tin. Performance on 40 meters, I have to say, was a little disappointing, left a bit to be desired. And looking at other reviews on the internet and on YouTube, I'm not the only person that says that. But on all the other frequencies, on all the other bands that this antenna is supposed to cover, it is fine. It works. Especially on, I did quite well on 30 meters with this actually. So yeah, I was making contacts all over Europe, and I mean, 15 meters I struggled on, but to be fair, band conditions weren't great. There was only a few stations coming through on that, and the band was closed basically, so I don't think that's down to the antenna. It worked on 18 megahertz, 14, like I say, 30 meters on 10 megahertz. It did quite well. So yep, I consider it a viable antenna. Thank you for watching. If you like what I do, please click the thumbs up button. It lets me know that I'm heading in the right direction with the channel and gives me the confidence to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't forget to click the subscribe and also the bell button to be notified when I upload new content. If you don't like what I'm doing, feel free to click the thumbs down button. Just tell me why in the comments below. I welcome your feedback, and constructive criticism will help me to improve the channel. Take care, and I hope you will catch me in the next video.